Welcome to part 2 of our interview with Rivermen head coach Jean-Guy Trudel.
Once you don't win a championship, you remember some guys on the team, you don't remember all of them. But once you win a championship, everybody had their role, everybody had their job, and they did something really special to make us win. So forever now, we are blessed to be together, and that's our legacy. We will remember each other. We'll remember Rumble play in that game. We'll remember Casey Kulsicki to block a shot with his head, bleeding, stitches, still scores a big goal for us. So just all those things, those guys are going to be engraved in Riverman history forever, it's a great feeling.
Oh, yeah. Everyone has a story. That's what makes my job, a little bit easier, but so enjoyable. Even looking at game 4 of the championship winning game, whether it be Marcel Gobout getting a huge goal with his grandmother having written a note to him, put up on the locker room board, Marcel, just use your shot, grandma. Not good luck, not I love you, just use your shot, grandma. And he does that, gets the tying goal on the power play. Or Jan Pietrowski, who has fought long and hard through so many disappointments through junior hockey and even in college, comes into the Peoria Rivermen, not really, I don't think anyone expected him to be a major piece, but then all of a sudden he comes in, A, becomes a major piece, B, gets an A, and then C, gets the championship winning goal that ends a 22-year drought. Guy, take me into your mind as you're getting ready to come out for overtime in a tie 2-2 hockey game. What's going through your mind in the first playoff overtime game that you've seen this season? You get the goal, you're champion. You don't get the goal, then you're going back to game 5, and that's it. Winner take all in that case. What's going through your mind as you're getting ready for that overtime session?
Well, first, as a coach, you have plan A, plan B, plan C in your mind. You're going on the bench thinking and that's what I told you earlier. What people don't realize in the South, in the playoff, it's extremely humid in those rinks, and dehydration becomes a really big part of the game. And I was rolling 4 left wingers because all of them seemed like they were dehydrating, they were cramping. So I had plan A, plan B. And to be honest with you, when Ernie made that shot in GM tip, I wasn't going to put Ernie that shift because he was feeling heavy that game. He was dehydrated. His legs were heavy. So for me, it was just about plan A, plan B, but we had tons of confidence because of the way we played the second and third. After the first, and just to explain to you, GM came up with the biggest goal, probably one of the biggest goals in Peoria Rivermen history. And you think about after the first period, I went at GM pretty hard because GM was playing like a player that was scared out there to make a mistake instead of playing a player that wants to go get the championship. And I know how strong and good GM can be on the ice. And I went after him, but if I would have done that at the beginning of the year, GM did not have the character necessary to come back after that and dominate a hockey game. And after the first period, he played a phenomenal second and third with tons of confidence, was physical, was not giving up the puck anymore. But again, that's the growth of a player, and that's what you need to be successful in the playoffs because that's a high-stress situation. You're game 4. If you lose that one, you're leaving everything to chance. You come back to Peoria, both teams are exhausted. You're in overtime. You travel 13, 14 hours. You don't know what's going to happen game 5. And for him to, and after the first period, me going after him a little bit and him coming out, it just shows what type of character and leadership the kid, took and grew in the year to become the man that he is now today. So for me, it was more a lot of confidence knowing that the last 2 periods we played the Peoria way and we were going in overtime, feeling pretty good about ourselves, but you never know. But I don't know why I felt like if we went to overtime, I had a pretty good feeling about our team.
Absolutely. And, Guy, speaking on that stress, anyone who had a stake in that overtime, no matter what side, whether you're player, coach, fan the stands, broadcaster, someone who's watching 100 miles away, I think they know how stressful that overtime was for all 66 seconds of it. But Guy,
and to be honest with you, that's what makes it so sweet about this year. Yeah. Like the fans, the players, the staff, our office, we've waited 22 years. So it seems like every single moment in these playoffs were lived at a times 10 type of energy or stress level or everything. Even semifinals, like you said, we were down 1-0. all our fans were, they're done again. They're, because human nature, you become a little negative since we haven't won a championship for so long. And then everybody was living on the edge. And even if you see our fans that were watching at our sponsors, the game, we had like 400 fans. You could see the stress level, like when they're talked to or interviewed, stress that was going on. And as a coach, you feel it, but as a coach, you understand, like I always say, the flow of the game. And I felt like the last 2 periods going overtime, we had very, very good momentum, very good flow. So I felt a lot of confidence going in overtime. And but I won't lie to you, I was happy that it ended pretty quick because our boys were cramping and they were pretty tired.
I think I can speak for everyone, Guy. I think we're all happy it ended in 66 seconds instead of further on down the line. But Guy, when Jan Pietrzewski tips that shot in and the Peoria Rivermen are President's Cup champions, describe the reaction, the emotion on the bench? Because I heard, correct me if this is wrong, but I heard that you did not even see the shot. You were down talking to someone. It might have been Alec Hagman. And then you turn, pick your head up, and all you see is big Cody Dion come to give you one of his bear hugs. What happened on the bench?
I did not see the goal. I did not see the celebration on the ice. I was looking at Alec, and I was about to ask. Alec looked like he was exhausted. And he told me after, all he was thinking to yourself, he's like, I'm over 30. I'm way too old for this anymore. And then I was looking for my next left winger because I still put Ernie out there, even if he looked exhausted. And I was looking for my next left winger on the bench because, you just, facial recognition, see him go, the body language.
You want to go? Who wants to play left wing? Anyone?
The whole second and third period, really, I was just shuffling everybody because everybody was exhausted. And I was like, okay, let's go. So I was looking, and all of a sudden I turned around and I saw this big, hairy 6'4" guy just coming at me. And that's the first sight I saw. And he jumped in my arm. And unfortunately, Cody's got this injury. And I just grabbed him. And I was like, after I grabbed him so hard, I was like, oh, man, maybe I broke his shoulder again. I was like, oh. And that's all I saw. And then, of course, as a staff, really, when you hug your staff after, for me, it's really to say thank you. Shane, Andrew, Cam, Cody, that's been helping out, since his injury. And it's just the biggest thank you and the biggest relief for me to give those guys a chance to be champions. And it's a great feeling for everybody. I was just happy for my players, happy for the staff, happy for everybody to have a chance to be champions.
What was one moment, do you think, either in the playoffs or over the course of the regular season, that encapsulates this team and the spirit of this team? If we're looking back 20, 30 years from now, and we can only go back to one game or one moment that really sums up this team, what is that moment we're picking?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think if you're looking just at a championship standpoint, I think every moment has their roles to make you what you are. Mm-hmm. I felt like if we didn't play Quad City that round, we maybe not would have won a championship, because I think they pushed us to our limit. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when you get pushed to the limit, you understand that your body's got so much more in it that it can take it and it keep moving. And I think that last game, when Quad City came at us really hard, I think just, understanding the character it took to win that series, I think the players started really believing that the finals were ours after we won that series. And I think that was one. And another moment for me was, as a coach, when it's time to have individual meetings. So our ship was very average the last month of the year. I thought we played very average hockey. And I had a meeting with Alec and GM in Vermilion. And I think we were honest with each other and what we needed to accomplish. And, because as a coach, even if you have the buy-in of players are also their own person. So sometimes they think different ways. And I think those meetings are important. I'll always remember that meeting. And, they explained to me how important I am and how much guys look up to me. And sometimes, they don't want to disappoint me. And for me as a coach, I was looking at them to take over the team. Because as a coach, you do a lot of your coaching the first 2-3 months. And after that, I feel like it's up to the leadership group to take over the team and, make everybody accountable every single day and do what you have to do. So for me, when they came and they wanted our team to get better in that last month and they wanted to win a championship, show me what our team was all about, like that they were sticking together. And and we were able, because, as a coach, you want to have the trust of your players, but the players want to have the trust of the coach. So I think that meeting kind of just brought it all together and made sure that both sides were together. And then we did what we needed as a team to do, keep the players that we needed, do a few transactions and bring everybody together. And if it wasn't for GM and Hags, I think the team would have been, a little bit of a lost puppy, because those guys really, really cared about bringing a championship to Peoria, and they all did. But I think your leadership group becomes an absolute key.
It might be a little vain to say that a parade or a celebration has so much meaning, but how impactful do you think was the victory celebration to bring the cup back to Peoria, parade it through downtown, and then have a little ceremony for the fans at Carver Arena, and obviously the autograph sessions and the pictures afterwards? But how impactful do you think that was, not only to you and your team, but also to the Peoria community as well?
I think that's why we won this year. I think we had a lot of local guys in Mitchell, Hags, and Wisely, and then we had Nate that helped out this year also. And I think guys like GM, guys like Dale, guys like that. I think everybody, and even Alec Bear, Neville, that's been here for a while, they all really wanted to bring it home for Peoria. To be honest with you, it was like, of course, you want to win it as a team, but if you don't have anybody to share it with, nothing's really worth it in life. And for us, it was about sharing it with the city of Peoria that waited 22 years to win it. And I think that was one of the big reasons. We wanted to bring it home so bad. And I always remember the day of the parade, too, is ugly outside and raining. And I was like, can you get anything worse than this right now? And then when we saw the joy on people's face when we got closer to Civic Center, in the fireman truck, and they were on top, we were inside because we're old and we wanted to make sure we're protected by rain.
Hey, or smart.
We're smart, yeah. And we were having fun with the sirens and stuff like that. But I think just seeing the joy on the faces of the people in the community of Peoria, our fans. I call them our family now because I've been around so long. Most of them I know really well. And then just everything. I think Bart and you guys, the staff, did a phenomenal job. In my brain, I was scared that you guys were going to mess up where the stage was, where the fans were. I want, as a coach, you want everything perfect at all time. And the whole experience was absolutely perfect. It was a perfect night. And the autograph session lasted 2-3 hours. It was a lot of people were there. A lot of people got their championship gear because you never know when the next championship is going to come. So, yeah. We enjoyed it. We really did do what we had to do to enjoy it with the community. And then for me as a coach, it was really important to bring the team away from Peoria. And because in the playoffs, as much as you're together, you're so focused on the common goal that sometimes your brain is just visualizing or focused on what you have to do. It was nice to just sit back in Nashville with you guys and just talk hockey. I remember the last night I was just sitting with Hags and my buddy, my buddy that's not part of the team but came with us to celebrate with us. And we had such a blast just watching hockey, and we talked about our whole playoff run just there on the couch. So those kind of moments are the moments for me, me, Babs, and Gertz just sitting there that I'm going to recognize and remember. Because as a coach, like I told you earlier, as soon as we won the championship, you're satisfied as a coach, but you're satisfied because you gave a chance to a lot of my players, my staff, everybody in the office, the fans. I gave my little part to make sure that they feel like a champion for a year. But for me, it's like, it seems like you're never satisfied. Okay, I'm ready for the next one now. You just want to keep going. So just to sit down and reflect on it with my players and my staff there in Nashville was kind of nice. It was something that if we win again, I'm going to do every single time, because I feel like you need those 2 days at the team to really reflect and enjoy each other's company.
Well, Guy, before we can start a title defense run, you got to have an off season. So I got to ask the last question, because we're starting to run out of time here. What are your off-season plans now that the ship is in dry dock? Now that you have the championship, you've already sent in your protected list. What does your off-season look like?
First off, my off-season right now, I'm working. Well, you're always recruiting. I was recruiting before our season ended, so that's always a gimme. We already have a few guys that got the paperwork. They're going to be signing here, and I'll let you know on all those. That information when it's sent to the league. And then one thing I'm working on right now, and I think we got Marcel a contract in ECHL already. I'm working for my players that brought so much to Peoria. I believe we have 4 or 5 guys that could be regulars in the ECHL and play really well in the ECHL. I have other guys that I feel like they need another year, but I still believe that they need a shot to kind of, and grow and see where they're at and what they need. So for me, these players brought so much to myself personally in my personal life. I told them after the game that because of them, I can finally sleep at night, sleep well. For 8 years, I've been working towards this goal. And I know as a coach, you never show stress or you never show, disappointment, but as a coach, it kind of weighs on you when you live in the city and you want to bring this city a championship. It weighs on you. And because of these guys, now I sleep at night. I sleep well. I know I did my job. And now my job is to make sure that they sleep well by giving them an opportunity to play at the highest level, because every hockey player has that. We know we have the Alec Agaman that could play at the next level, but he's a pure guy that wants to stay because he already played in ECHL. We have those guys. So for me, it's putting a puzzle and putting individual meetings for everybody to know exactly what they want. And I can't promise anything to my players, but they know that, I'm going to work extremely hard to try to find them something this summer to play at the highest level. And if they come back, they know they're going to have a great development year and a great situation, because I think we're going to have another very good team next year.
One of the many qualities that makes you arguably, not arguably, are pretty much the best hockey coach in Peoria Rivermen history, Jean-Guy Trudel. Guy, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come talk to us about the season. Look forward to talking to you further on down the line in the off season and eventually when 2022-2023 gets ready to get underway. Guy, thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
You already, buddy. And I love the new haircut. You look professional, buddy. I love rougher. I'll see you in the office soon, buddy. I'll start making my way downtown.
Sounds good. We'll go get lunch. You and me. We'll go get lunch.
Love you, buddy.